Question for Jay and Connor. Where would Matthew Berry rank all time as a Bond villain, full PPR?
Oh, it is a good question.
Yeah, somewhere in between Mads Mikkelsen's Le Chiffre and Goldfinger. Yeah, in between that mix.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. Fair enough. I'm trying to think of all the different Bond villains.
You should dress like one tonight on the Tonight Show. Start your audition.
Scaramanga from Man with the Golden Gun, played by Christopher Lee. There's a lot of Bond villains.
Who's the big tall one? I forget the big tall one. But that's right. Can you imagine if I dressed as a Bond villain and I ran into Pierce Brosnan's dressing room? Yeah. Let's see what you do now.
Fantasy Football Happy Hour with Matthew Berry.
Welcome to the Fantasy Football Happy Hour. There it is. Fallon Tonight, drinks for free.
The entire staff of The Tonight Show, starring Jimmy Fallon, they could not have been more gracious, not just to me, but my entire family. I brought my wife, Beth, my son, Connor, my daughters, Brooke and Samantha, I brought the whole, I roll deep.
Yes, clearly.
But no, you know what? Like they had, they had gifts for each one of my kids and snacks and they could not have been more gracious or welcoming to me and my entire family. The entire staff could not have been better. And so anyway, we just had an amazing experience. You know, not just me, but be able to do something like that and do it with my family. You know what I mean? Like it. You know, like my kids don't get that impressed with me, but like
this was a special one.
This was cool. Like we're in the dressing room before the show, and like Jimmy stops by just to say hi for a few minutes. And
What's for two-time guests?
Yeah, two-time guests.
The first time, I don't know if you get like. Look at this.
Yeah, right.
It's not just like some crummy T-shirt.
I got swag.
That's stitched.
It's pretty nice. You want to feel me? Go ahead. There you go. Nice.
It's felt.
It's you can come over, Jay. Maybe
it's just space.
Anyway,
no touching.
Yeah. It is very silky soft. And no, but like just Jimmy came by before the show and just again talk with my kids and my wife, and just he's so gracious and so nice. Literally, what you see on air, like that is him. Like it's not an act. So I think why he's so good, because it's just like he's just himself. And like anyway, the entire staff, from shout out producer Brett Harris, I have to say. But seriously, it was an unbelievable experience.
Slick outfit last night, Matthew.
Thank you very much.
Looking like the T-shirt blazer look.
Yeah, I look good, right?
Yeah,
shout
Facebook
out
executive. Yeah, look good.
Shout out to Amy Acton and the entire NBC Sports Wardrobe department. That's Amy, and Alexis always takes care of me. Yeah.
Elite Instagram comment though on that picture. Yeah. Said love what they did with your hair for the show.
That was strong.
Man,
that was strong.
Great comment.
Wow. Savage.
Well,
listen, we're gonna keep the momentum rolling.
From Jimmy Fallon to Connor Rogers, definitely like not a drop in hosting.
If anything, questionable upgrade.
Yeah.
Questionable.
Very questionable.
Listen, we got one of our favorites that we do every single August. This is our Breakouts and Busts show. This is a time where we can kind of put our name on who we think is going to take the next step up and is going to outperform ADP. And then we're going to do something that we can come back to regret. We're going to say who we're maybe not drafting, but not at cost, for sure, our bust of the year. So this is a big one for us. But Matthew, you're going to start us off with a receiver that there's been a lot of talk about for breakouts, especially from his young quarterback in Michael Penix, who said everybody's aware of what Drake London is going to do this year.
It's been good. Man, Drake obviously a baller. He's somebody that's going to get the ball a lot this year. He did last year as well. So we definitely going to find ways to make sure he have a great season this year, and he deserving of it. He puts in the work each and every day at practice. Not just on game days, but he take every rep serious, and that's what you appreciate as a quarterback. And your receivers going 100% all the time. So.
Do you think he's a top 10 receiver in the league?
Yeah, for sure. Easy.
You feel like he gets underappreciated a little bit sometimes nationally?
He won't after this year.
Let's go.
Michael Penix with big words.
Yeah.
For your fantasy breakout.
By the way, what's he gonna say? Like, the reporter's like, do you think he's a top 10 receiver in the league? What's Michael Penix gonna say?
Leading the witness.
Yeah, a little.
Right.
A little.
And
bit.
his reaction was kind of like that. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. But I think some of the comments there were actually instructive, where he just said, he got the ball a lot last year. He's going to get the ball a lot this year. Like, he wasn't lying. In the 3 starts that Michael Penix Jr. made last year, Drake London had a 40% target share. Friend of the podcast, friend of the show, Detective Drake London. And what you like about London's game is, and we talked about this when we interviewed him last year, is that like he actually works out of the slot. They've used him recently more in the slots. 47% of his targets last year came in the slot. So they're manufacturing kind of these easy touches for him. And you know what's weird is I think I can hear some people saying like Drake London breakout, like he hasn't actually broken out yet.
No.
Like we've been waiting for it. Like he has this top 8 pick draft capital. He's been an alpha, the number 1 wide receiver of the Falcons ever since he came into the league, but he's had inconsistent quarterback play. He had Arthur Smith as an offense coordinator. Last year, Kirk Cousins, running around on like half an Achilles. In the 14 starts with Kirk Cousins, Drake London had one 100-yard game, which is criminal to think about. Like, let's make sure we get Ray McLeod. What are we doing? But in 2 of the 3 starts that Penix made, Drake London over 100 yards. I am at wide receiver 9. I think he joins the tier this year of elite wide receiver 1s, like the guy that can be the best wide receiver on your team, which he hasn't been to date in his NFL career, Connor.
He's got the quarterback that fits the skill set, right? A guy like Michael Penix that could drive the ball outside the numbers, that will throw to receivers. As we saw in college, he would pepper Rome Odunze with targets over and over again, even when he was covered. And that fits the profile of a guy like Drake London that can make a play above the rim. Or Jay, he could also separate at that size.
Yeah, the couple things you love about Drake London. One is the fact that he gets played in the slot so much. He's kind of in that Zach Robinson offense, kind of potentially the 2021 Cooper Kupp role, where you're moving him all around the formation. He's getting a lot of work out of the slot, which raises his floor. And then the second thing that I really like about Drake London is he had a great year last year, statistically, and that was with a mess of a quarterback situation, a team that ran the ball a ton. And here's the thing. He didn't have a single reception of 40 yards or more last year, Drake London. There was no three-point shooting in that offense, and now they have the ultimate bomber in Michael Penix, who's going to throw it deep and I think really activate that aspect.
Yeah, just to give a stat of what you and Connor are both talking about in terms of the depth there. With Penix last year, he had a 12.7 average depth of target, 12.7 ADOT, compared to like just 10 with Kirk Cousins. So, I mean, like they are going to take deeper shots to Drake London. Darnell Mooney, too, once he gets healthy as well. I think the Falcons' offense is going to be really interesting for fantasy because I really think it's going to be those 3 guys. I think it's going to be Drake London, Mooney, and, of course, Bijan Robinson. We will see if all the Kyle Pitts buzz for the 8 billionth year in a row actually pans out. I am not there yet on Kyle Pitts, and it's one of the reasons why I am so in on Detective Drake London.
And for context of the segment, if people hear Drake London, they know that's a popular name. His ADP is 21. Matthew has him 15th. That is a big difference. That's believing in the breakout, being 6 spots higher. Jay, what about you?
Somebody that takes the next, wherever he's perceived in the fantasy football industry, we are saying with these breakouts, these are people that take the next step. So again, where he's being drafted as a wide receiver 2. I say this year he's a wide receiver 1.
Jay Stabs watching live on YouTube. Hot take, honestly, Drake London could lead the league in touchdown receptions this year. I don't think that's scorching.
I don't think that's scorching.
Totally
I think that's it's not hot enough, Jay Stabs. I like it. I like the take.
All-time single-season receiving touchdowns record. Let's go to that, Jay Stabs.
Yeah, come on, Jay Stabs. If we're going to do a
Randy
hot
Moss,
take.
7?
Yeah, exactly. Predict 27 touchdowns. Now we're talking. But I do like the fact, I will say, we've been doing live on YouTube at noon every single day. And this year, and I like the fact that the commenters are always a big part of the show. Like the last couple of days, we've been getting a lot of hot takes. I like this hot take. I like putting your name to it or your made-up screen name. I like putting your made-up screen name to a bold prediction. So keep it up, Happy Hour Nation. Do we ever come up with
That's a first.
Right, we need
Happy Hour Nation.
we need a what?
It's kind of crazy. Season 4, and we
haven't come up with a
name for the audience.
Yeah.
Happy hour attenders.
Happy hour. We have to think of like what's the name? That's a question for the audience. What would you like to be called? Like Nation, the
Drinkers?
Groove, the
Happy hour
drinkers,
drinkers?
the drinkers. Yeah, the barflies.
The best ones will be rolled into the show, as you see with Jay Stabs on the lower. We'll get some suggestions there. All right, from Drake London, Jay, to
Tucker Kraft.
There we go.
Yeah,
Sure.
breakout candidate, Tucker Kraft, the immortal Mr. Kraft. Here's what I like about Tucker Kraft. He led all tight ends in yards after catch last season. He's one of the most explosive tight ends in the league, yards after contact as well. He is just an excellent player after the catch. And I think that this muddled Green Bay wide receiver room, I think it plays to Tucker Kraft's upside, because of all these guys, between Jayden Reed, who's in a walking boot, Matthew Golden, who's never played a regular season NFL snap, Romeo Doubs, who kind of left the team briefly last year and then came back and is okay, Dontavian Wicks, who we keep on waiting to break out. There's just a lot of dudes in there, and I don't know what we're going to get out of any of them, but I know what Tucker Kraft's talent is, I know what Jordan Love's rapport is, and when you look at the tight end yak leaders last year, like Tucker Kraft was 9.1 yards after the catch last year. The second best in the NFL was George Kittle at 6.7. That's a massive gap. This guy is super explosive, and I think overall, I just want to buy shares of Jordan Love in a way, because I think that he was banged up all the last season. He ended 2023 playing like one of the 5 best quarterbacks in the league. I think he has that upside still in him, and Tucker Kraft is a way to tap into that upside.
Yeah, look, I like the call. I'm at tight end 11, and so you mentioned it, right? They have all these wide receivers that are sort of interchangeable into that offense. I mean, we know Reed plays in the slot, but just they have a lot of moving parts there. Except Tucker Kraft, who he is their tight end. He is a big red zone threat. He's the one guy whose role isn't going to switch in and out based on personnel or scheme or who else is on the field for him. And he, from an NFL perspective, broke out last year. I don't think he's broken out fantasy-wise yet. He became a popular waiver wire pickup last year, but there's certainly a scenario with some touchdown luck where you see Tucker Kraft being just a weekly in and out, tight end one starter every single week.
I like the point about the consistency, Matthew. He's a great blocking tight end, so that keeps him on the field, and he's an adequate pass catcher. You brought up the yak, Jay. He just runs through people. He has from college to the NFL. It's a translatable skill set. For me, guys, I'm going to go back.
I have a good idea. What about Happy Hour Hive? Like the Happy Hour Hive, Triple H. That's available, right? No one's used that, right?
No.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, where's
Certainly
the
not
Triple H?
pro wrestling.
Yes. Where's the Triple H?
Hey,
where's my
fix
Triple
your car
H?
when you have a dead
Copyright.
battery?
What?
Okay. Yeah, Triple H. That'll play.
Will
sure. I think we can do better.
We're
like
workshopping.
I do like. I mean, Triple H obviously we can't do. I was just doing that for the joke, but I do.
Happy Hour Hooligans is what bad guy
Hooligans
Riri
isn't bad.
Okay.
said.
Happy Hour Hive. I kind of like Happy Hour Hive. No.
But why is it I don't get it.
It's a hive. You haven't heard that? Like,
Yeah,
you know,
with a
The
bar?
collection of people that support
Right.
At
something.
a bar, though?
Like you're in the Tucker Kraft hive.
Right.
Yeah, no, I get that, but it's like it's a happy hour.
The,
It's like
the
specific to a
Beehive.
bar.
Beyonce's fans of the Beehive, which I know
Yeah.
you're a big fan
Yes.
of. Here we go.
Associated
Yeah.
by family.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bad guy Riri also Happy Hour Hooligans.
Hooligans at least has a implied drinking
Hooligans
aspect.
is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. The drunks. Where are drunks?
Well.
Drunk on fantasy football.
There we
Play
go.
all the sponsors.
All
PG.
right. Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm going back to the wide receiver well here.
Yes, sir.
Marvin Harrison Jr. You know the
Okay.
name. You probably were disappointed last year based
Sure.
on expectations, especially how good somebody like Malik Neighbors was. Marvin's still good, but he needs to be great to meet these expectations. And because he wasn't great last year, guys, his ADP right now, he's being drafted as the 17th wide receiver. So Marvin Harrison finishing as a top 15 receiver this year is outperforming expectations. I think that's a low bar for him. I mean, you just look at the promising side in 16 healthy games last year. He had at least a 20% target share in 12 of them. He was tied for second in the NFL in end zone targets last season, 18. So there should be some positive regression there. And then you just look at air yards. I mean, he's third among wide receivers in percentage of his team's air yards. So he's a true wide receiver one in his offense. But Matthew, they got to scheme him some touches. It can't all just be him having to make plays down the field, above the rim, in tight quarters like that.
Ridiculous. Guys hanging all over him, and then
it's
turns
definitely
around,
level
back
contact.
shoulder, one-handed.
The
Just
talent didn't go
stupid.
anywhere.
Right.
If you believe in the talent of Marvin Harrison Jr. as a super prospect, you should still believe in it in year two. I will happily draft him as one of the first 15 wide receivers off the board. He's not being viewed as that, Jay.
Yeah, he's going in terms of just wide receiver positioning, he's going 10 spots after Brian Thomas Jr., which would have been unthinkable 12 months ago. Obviously, we've got more data since then, but at the same time, I think with Marv, still plenty of upside, still have to regress to the fact that he was a generational prospect. And I think another key thing is that Kyler Murray was one of the worst deep ball throwers in the NFL last year. And a lot of that was his targets to Marv, where it just didn't seem like the timing, they weren't on the same page. Kyler Murray back in 2021, where the Cardinals were competing for the 1 seed, he's just about the best deep ball thrower in the NFL. He was in that level of conversation. And so he's probably not that, but I don't think he's one of the worst either. So that should regress, and Marv should benefit there too.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're actually it's very small samples, but I think they're actually also trying to put him in the slot a little bit. They're trying to move him inside a little bit.
A little bit of him preseason.
Yeah, we've seen a little bit, just whatever, a couple of snaps, but
get him going.
The fact is, like, how can we get? He's one of our most talented playmakers. How can we figure out ways to get him the ball? And so, yeah, Kyler definitely struggled. They just weren't on the same page. There were definitely times last year where he was clearly open, and Kyler just missed him.
Yep.
Just absolutely missed him. So I think betting on the talent and the opportunities is smart here.
Just the institutional incentives as well. Like if you're the Arizona Cardinals, what have you spent all offseason thinking about in terms of your offense? Like it's how to maximize Marvin Harrison Jr. You're not thinking about how to maximize Zay Jones as your wide receiver too.
Right.
Like this offense is going to live through Marvin Harrison. They spent, the 4th pick in the draft on Marv. Like they need this to work, and he's their best path to being an elite offense.
It's him and Trey McBride. That's who gets the targets.
That's the other thing. And again, I always talk about this. We talked about it yesterday with Travis Hunter. But like again, you have to think about just the people in the building. A football team is like any other workplace with people, people that work, and there's bosses that you may not agree with their decision making. There's internal politics, everything like that. Jonathan Gannon is I just tell you, if the Cardinals fail this year and don't show some improvement, I got news for you. Like, if they're sitting there going like, all right, well, we can either get rid of Jonathan Gannon or Marvin Harrison Jr., I can tell you who's sticking there next year, and it's Marvin Harrison Jr. Like, I mean, they need Marvin Harrison Jr. to work. Like, he was they put a ton of draft capital into him, and so if he doesn't work this year, that's going to be on the offensive coaching staff, and so that's going to be a challenge.
How about a running back, Matthew, as a breakout?
How about, again, this is a trendy name, but again, we're talking about taking the next step. Chase Brown of the Cincinnati Bengals. Look, I think everyone saw what he did down the stretch last year. I'm at running back 11. I think I'm at 23 overall. He's currently going in the 27 to 30 range overall, according to Fantasy Life ADP across the various sites. So I think he becomes an RB1 this year. I think most people are right now drafting him as RB2. 6 of the final 8 games last year, 19 or more fantasy points since he became the starter. The knock on Brown was he can't be an every down back. And yet, he averaged over 23 touches a game from week 9 on for the Cincinnati Bengals. It's going to be a high-octane offense, an offense that scores a lot. And his competition for touches right now, Samaje Perine and 6th-round rookie Taj Brooks. And so I don't mind actually a late-round flyer on Taj Brooks, but let's be serious. Like, Chase Brown has talent and opportunity in a great offense. So I have it running back 11. I think I might even be too low on him, Connor, but to me, he showed everything you needed last year to be a true workhorse running back. He's got the role of Joe Mixon with more explosiveness.
That's the key.
More explosiveness and more pass catching ability.
That's the key. With guys like this, when you're unsure of the volume, you're like, okay, are they explosive enough to make it count? With him, you get the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
You do. You get all the volume in an offense that will be in the red area a lot, which means he has a good chance to have touchdown equity. Their wide receivers are great, but you're going to score rushing touchdowns. You know who isn't? Joe Burrow is not going to score rushing touchdowns. This is Chase. You brought up the running back depth chart. This is Chase Brown. It's all Chase Brown there, and he's talented enough to maximize that as well.
Yeah, and Robo Centaur says, I'm aiming for either Bucky or Chase Brown with my 2nd-round pick. I love that. That's right. Like, I was about to say, if you go wide receiver in the 1st, I'm thrilled to get Chase Brown as my number 1 running back in the 2nd. You can get him, and I'm good with Bucky Irving as well. This is a pro Bucky Irving show. Make no mistake. I know there are anti-Bucky Irving shows out there, but we are firmly pro Bucky Irving, and obviously we love Chase Brown. He's my breakout again. I think he takes the step from a RB2 this year, or a round 2 guy, to somebody that you're drafting in the 1st round next year. The other thing that I think people are just, I don't want to say they're sleeping on Chase Brown because he's obviously a well-known commodity, but I just think they're not ready to fully commit because they're like, he's still a smaller back. He only did it for half a season. Just a little nerd. I'm all in on the talent and, again, the opportunity.
Yeah, he's also just the distant 4th most famous person on that offense, which I think just leads people to naturally underrate him.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's, and you got Mike Gesicki too, of course.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
The greatest celebrator of first downs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Andre Yosevich. Yeah, exactly.
Going back
to the better joke.
Going back to, that's all right. You could take it for the show.
That's fine.
Going back to the tight end well here, Jay?
Yes.
I am. My other breakout candidate joining the Tucker Kraft hive is the Kincaid hive, Dalton Kincaid, who had a down year last year, but Matthew, as you kind of vaguely reported, your journalistic exploits from chatting to people at the Combine, Dalton Kincaid was hurt last year, and he seemed to deal with it for all the season.
I asked a member of the Bills offensive coaching staff.
Sean McDermott.
And I said, what happened with Kincaid last year? And he was just like, he was hurt, man. He was hurt all year long. We couldn't get him going. He was just out there gutting it out. Mark my word. He literally said to me, this coach knew what I did, knew who I was, everything like that. He literally said to me, he says, mark my words, Dalton Kincaid's a sleeper next year. He's going to have a monster year, fully healthy. So, and there's other reasons for optimism here.
Yep. And also, Dalton Kincaid, they spent a first-round pick on him 2 years ago, which I think you still have to regress to that level of talent, particularly if you're going to at least minimize a bit of last year with the injuries. And then secondly, Dalton Kincaid came on our show and talked about how steep the learning curve is with Josh Allen in terms of creating out of structure and getting on the same page. And last year, Dalton Kincaid, the stat is via PFF's Nathan Janke, who does a great job. He had the third most uncatchable targets for a tight end last season, which, like, it's not like his quarterback is Desmond Ridder.
Right,
his quarterback is Josh Allen. Like, that shouldn't happen. Like, they're going to get on the page more often. So there's upside there. There's upside with health. Now, the caveat is that Dawson Knox does play more than you would like if you're drafting Dalton Kincaid. But I think there's positive correlation here where the better Dalton Kincaid plays, the more time that he is going to earn. And it's not like they have to play Dawson Knox all the time. If Kincaid is earning targets and playing really well, then he's just going to play more.
And they played different roles in this offense. That's the other thing. They're like, even if, like, Dalton Kincaid's not a tight end. I know
like a big slot
a
receiver compared to a guy parked on the line of scrimmage. That's how
exactly
different.
right.
Like, that's not even. They shouldn't even be in the same position group. Basically,
that's my point.
Here's the thing with Dalton Kincaid. The last point here is, so he's going like tight end 14, tight end 15. There are very real worlds where he is the number one target for Josh Allen this season. Josh Allen just won the MVP. Josh Allen might be the best football player on earth, and Dalton Kincaid might be, plausibly, his most targeted player, particularly with your man Khalil Shakir dealing with a little.
Yes, that is the correct pronunciation. Yes, Khalil Shakir. You got Keon Coleman there. There's not a lot of proven options.
Josh Palmer,
of course, but new team. He's learning a new system as well. Like, there's not a lot of guys there that have a ton of experience, with the exception of maybe Shakir, that have that experience with Josh Allen. So Kincaid, I like the call a lot.
My last one here, guys, for breakouts. We've talked about him a lot, but I can't wrap my head around Travis Hunter right now in terms of why he's being undervalued. If you just told somebody this guy won the Heisman.
I'm with you.
The team traded the house to take him second overall. You'd be like, okay, in fantasy, he's got to be taken as a top 20 to 25 wide receiver.
Preach.
He's drafted as wide receiver 30. And it's because everybody is so afraid that he's going to play some defense. He's still going to play a ton of offense. We just saw 88% of the offensive snaps with Trevor Lawrence.
And here's the other thing. And Connor, you can speak to this better than anyone. But the fact of the matter is that I have no concerns about the defense, because here's the thing. Even if he plays 20% of the snaps on defense, for however many snaps he plays on defense, all that means is that when he does play snaps offensively, they're going to use him.
Right.
Like, he's not going to be out there running wind sprints.
Right.
Like, if he is on the field, because his snaps are limited, because they need him on the other side of the ball as well, like, he will be targeted. So even if he plays 50% of the offensive snaps, the fact of the matter is he's still going to have like a 20% target share.
Right.
I mean, like, on those routes, like, he's always going to be one of the first two reads. And so, like, all he needs is 8 targets a game, 6 to 8 targets a game, which I think they're going to be throwing a ton. And Travis Hunter, I want all the shares of Travis Hunter I can get. I'm all in. I'm with you.
Brandon on YouTube, I think with Hunter, people are worried about Lawrence being bad and BTJ being the alpha dog in that offense. The BTJ point, I get it, but you have to scale back here and realize he's the only guy on this roster that saw more than 53 targets last year.
And by the way, I don't have the stat off the top of my head. Maybe producer Damien, maybe you can get in my ear and give me the exact stat. But Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram, I want to say over 200 targets or something like that. There's a ton of vacated targets on this. And yes, and I also think that as great as Brian Thomas Jr. is, and he is, but he's not somebody that's going to get 15 targets a game. They're going to take some deeper shots with him. Again, what Connor said, what I've said, you do not put as much draft capital in your very first job as general manager or head coach into Travis Hunter and not make him work. Yes, BTJ is going to get a ton of targets, but so is Travis Hunter. And for the Trevor Lawrence being bad, whatever you think of Trevor Lawrence, I assure you, he's better than whatever the Giants rolled out last year at quarterback when Malik Neighbors was wide receiver 6. Ultimately, when you are talented And we think Travis Hunter is insanely talented. When you are talented, you can earn targets at a high share. Give me all the Travis Hunter I can get. 1,000%.
We're in. All right, game on, fellas.
Yeah, Brandon.
The NBA, of course, coming to NBC, the superstars, the rivalries, and of course, yes, you hear it.
Round ball rock.
That theme song, it's all back. NBA tip-off, October 21st on NBC and Peacock. Guys, how about the throwback here?
I don't think the Pelicans existed when this.
I don't think so either.
Just remember, Matthew, Rick Smits is retired. So we can't talk about
But
him.
Detlef Schrempf is still around, right?
Detlef Schrempf's kicking around,
Okay,
yeah.
good. Thank
He's
God.
backup power forward for the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah, right. And the Davis brothers, right? Dale.
We're taking our first break.
And
Right, yeah, exactly. Antonio.
There you go.
Dale and Antonio.
there you go.
When we're back, some guys were nervous to draft. Busts are coming up right after this.
Update on James, that's probably a question you guys have. James and I had a good conversation yesterday. We talked about warming up. He agreed to warm up, but not play due to his situation right now. So that's where we're at. So no change really overall.
Do you expect him to practice?
Yeah, again, let's just move on. We can talk about the guys who played. I think that's the right thing to do and the fair thing to do right now. So James's situation is James's situation, and let's talk about the team.
That was Bills coach Sean McDermott. I like the situation is the situation. That's a good excuse to use in life.
It's not saying anything.
Somebody asks you why you didn't do something, well, the situation is the situation.
The air is the air.
Yeah.
Anyways, he's expected to practice today. That's per Joe Biscaglia, who does a great job covering the Bills.
Clearly, James Cook watches Fallon tonight. By the way, if you want to see the full segment, you can go to YouTube, by the way, and just search my name, or go to my Twitter. I don't have my social media handles because I am like plugging the hell out of it because I'm proud of it. But one of the things I said on the Tonight Show, Jimmy asked me, "Hey, give me a player that you don't think he does as well this year," and I said, "Well, James Cook actually." Which leads us into into our bus. And so, like, these are just, again, we want to be careful here, but players that we don't think live up to ADP. His current ADP, he's going 35 overall. He's going as running back 13, according to Fantasy Life consensus ADP at fantasylife.com. And one of the things I said to Jimmy is like, I said, well, first off, he's holding out. So, okay, that got solved apparently today. But under 15 touches a game last year. Right? He just didn't touch the ball a ton, which is 26th among running backs, right? He had a 48% snap share that ranked 38th at the position. He was in a part-time role. And he's another guy that has competition with his quarterback for goal line touches. Now, I know he had 16 rushing touchdowns, 18 total touchdowns last year, but then you think about, all right, 16 rushing touchdowns last year. The 2 seasons prior to last year, he had 4 rushing touchdowns combined. So even if he does more than 2 a year, I don't know that we're going to get 16 again this year. It feels like just there's going to be a regression to the mean there. This is somebody who played on only 13% of third downs. He's not involved in the passing game quite a bit here. An 8% target share, which is barely top 40 among running backs. So you're like, unless he's getting the touchdowns, like he was so skewed by those touchdowns last year, and I don't know that you can count on them, Connor.
Right, and then you deal with the question that running backs, as we've seen over the years, that get into camp late because of holdouts or get into the season late because of holdouts, traditionally have terrible years. Like, I'm sorry, there's just no way around it. They traditionally vastly underperform the year that got them into the contract holdout situation. I'm not saying James Cook is gonna have a terrible year, but it's building up to one of many things that Matthew just said, combined with that situation, combined with that the quarterback runs for a ton of touchdowns as well. You start to get like, okay, I maybe don't want to be in this business.
He's going as running back 13. I'm at running back 17. I have him around. I have 45 overall. He's going 35th overall, so like basically a full round behind. And honestly, I think I might be too high on him. Like I might move him down a notch or two,
right.
Jay. But
the longer this goes,
just bad vibes.
Yeah.
Bad vibes, and they like Ray Davis there.
Yeah, and also the Bills were 13-3 last year before they sat everyone the final week. They were in scoring position a lot. Just law of averages is you're not going to win 13 out of your first 16 games again, even though their schedule is fairly favorable.
They
might. they may, but their win total is lower than that. So just naturally you'd expect less scoring opportunities for James Cook. And last year was such an outlier in terms of his touchdown total.
This segment is going to be very running back heavy because traditionally those are the guys that have the highest bust potential from injury, regression, contract situations. Jay, though, you're going out on a limb and going against any of those.
Yeah, I don't like to use the word bust with Saquon Barkley, who is probably going to be really good this year, but don't like to pay for peak seasons, career seasons for a running back the year after. We've seen this too many times. Christian McCaffrey was the #1 running back drafted last year. How did he go? 2021 Jonathan Taylor. How did he go following year? Like, I just don't want to pay for that because there's just the more carries that you get, the more strain you put on your body, the more likely you are to have a weaker year the following year. And Saquon Barkley last year had 482 touches between the regular season and the postseason. It was completely insane. And also he had relative health for his offensive line, for his quarterback, and if either of those things start to go down, then all of a sudden the flaws in Saquon, in terms of his fantasy profile, they come more to the fore. Doesn't get much work in the passing game, doesn't get goal line carries because of the tush push, and he was very dependent last year on just breaking these 70-yard runs. And I get it, he's Saquon Barkley, he's probably better positioned than anyone to do that, but you're just not going to replicate that at the same level. So look, where Eagles fans get very upset with me when I talk negative about the Eagles. I got nothing against the Eagles.
They know you're a Giants homer.
Yeah, they know I'm a big Giants fan. So you get very upset when I say Jalen Hurts isn't a top 5 quarterback, which, by the way, he's not, but Bryce Harper is my favorite baseball player, Philadelphia sports fans. So, look, I just think with Saquon, you're just paying too much for last season, and there's just a lot of regression indicators this year.
The other thing is I don't have a stat for this, but I feel like last year was a something to prove year. Oh, the Giants didn't want me, and the Hard Knocks clip that went so hard.
It's human nature.
It was just a little bit like, running back shouldn't get paid, and then I'm going to show you, right? And the Eagles were like, we're going to get back to the Super Bowl. The year before had been tough by Eagles standards, like there've been coaching issues and everything like that. So it just felt like the entire team, especially with Saquon, had a chip on their shoulder. We're going to show you. We're going to prove you. I'm not saying they don't have that same desire, that same hunger, but last year, no team was more run-heavy in the NFL than the Philadelphia Eagles. And previously, the past couple of years under Sirianni, prior to last year, they were sort of like in the, they were like 20 to 22. They were in that range. So they're like a bottom 10, or a top 10, depending on how you want to look at it in terms of, being run-heavy. But they weren't like, 32nd. They weren't like the most run-heavy team in the NFL. So I think even if they just become like a normal run-heavy team as opposed to a very strong, an insanely lopsided run-heavy team, like I think some of that comes down. I could see them wanting to, again, to your point about 482 touches, like the Eagles, rightfully so, are like, we want to defend our Super Bowl. We think we're going to be playing in February in San Francisco on NBC. I'm a company man. And so they're going to want to limit some of those touches as well.
Yeah,
Right.
I also just think, like, if you ask the average football fan who's a bigger injury risk this year, Christian McCaffrey or Saquon Barkley, pretty much everyone's saying Christian McCaffrey because he was hurt last year. It's like, I don't know. I feel like it's the guy who had 482 touches last year as opposed to the guy who appears to be fully healthy in camp and didn't play that much last year, which was bad because he got injured, but also didn't put as many miles on. So
Well, it's why-
I don't know. I think it's like, I don't think it's a big gap anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I have McCaffrey at 3. I have Saquon Barkley at running back 4. I have both obviously as first rounders this year, but there are. I've seen drafts where Saquon Barkley goes number 1 overall. I've seen him be the number 1 running back off the board, and I think we're sitting here saying, like, there are other players we'd like at that position.
That's the whole point of this exercise is at cost, right?
Right, exactly.
Like you're not saying James Cook is going to be not even flex worthy.
No,
you're not
of
saying
course
Saquon
not.
Barkley is going to finish as outside the top 20 running back.
No, it's just that if he's RB6, then that's a disappointing kind of season for where you drafted him.
Yes, that is a bust of a season compared to what you paid, and that's exactly how I feel about Breece Hall right now.
Yeah, fair.
I mean, Breece Hall, you will draft him as a top 15 running back. You will use a top 40 fantasy pick on him right now. You will be taking him probably over George Kittle, even Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison, Kenneth Walker, and Amarian Hampton. Like that's the conversation here. I think Breece Hall is going to catch a lot of short passes. I think he's going to split a backfield with Braylon Allen and even Isaiah Davis. Am I drafting that running back in the top 15 that's sharing carries and then dealing with touchdown equity to not only those running backs, but his own quarterback, Justin Fields? Like, would it shock you, Matthew, if Justin Fields runs for more touchdowns than Breece Hall this year?
It would not shock me, not at all.
I actually
in fact,
would-
I think
would lean
I would
that
love
way.
to know the odds on that.
Right.
I'd rather bet the Justin Fields side of that. Certainly. Because, again, he's never been a guy that they use a ton at the goal line. They're going to use Justin Fields' leg. Like, you have to. You have to have designed runs for him at the goal line as well. Last year, under 15 fantasy points in 7 of his final 9 games. He's never had more than 5 rushing touchdowns in a game. Like, he's never been a big touchdown scorer. His calling card has been, big usage and these explosive plays and his usage in the passing game. And that's going to happen this year, but there's more mouths to feed. And whereas before, I mean, he's currently going like as running back 14, and that feels a little rich.
It's just a matter of, like, do you value him more, once again, than Kenneth Walker, Amarian Hampton, and depending on what league you're in, some other higher-end guys. So it's, it just comes down to at cost. We have another YouTube comment here from Sean Murphy. If Connor feels this strongly about Hall, I take that as gospel. It just scares you a little bit, but yes, I've said it on the show. I'm around the team more. I'm around the Jets more than any other team in the NFL.
Yeah, of course, because you cover them for SNY. Yeah. It's CONNOR, by the way, Sean Murphy, by the way.
Yeah.
He's Connor with an O.
Yeah. Sean Murphy.
He's not James Connor.
Sean Murphy, lots of time in his hands now. He's in a timeshare with Drake Baldwin. He's a baseball player, Matthew.
Yeah, that's helpful. Baseball's the one you play with a little white ball, right?
Yeah, swing a
It's
bat.
got seams on it?
Yeah,
Okay,
try to
got
hit
it,
out
got
of
it,
the
got it.
stadium.
Is Paul Konerko still a baseball player?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, him and Schregeloss.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
David Eckstein?
Unieski Betancourt.
Yeah, Eckstein, whatever.
Yeah, we got
Sean
it.
Figgins?
Oh, man. We're rolling with the throwback names.
Yeah.
How about another running back?
Yeah, look, again, the whole point, to echo your thoughts here, Connor, these are not thoughts about, Matthew Lairs, I'm doing bicep curls right now to match Connor. I like
With a
it.
knee. I think I'm just Connor with a knee now. It's okay.
100%. Yeah, we got the gun show. Let's move this. Look at that.
There we go.
Look at the gun show. Yeah,
Unbelievable.
exactly. Sun's out.
I'm already
guns out.
embarrassed.
Let's go. Listen, you're a handsome man.
Thank
It
you,
is what
Matthew.
it is.
Maybe I'll be on the Tonight
But
Show
also-
one day. Probably not, but
But Connor, when you compare your body to Matthew's on the aging curve, Matthew has the far superior body.
yes, it's based on, what did you guys say the other day with Lawrence?
The bell curve. Unbelievable bell curve.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's very good. It's very good.
Yeah, call me in 30 years. See if you look this good. All right. Joe Mixon is a bust for me. I don't understand his ADP. He's currently going as running back 20. He's going inside the top 60 according to Fantasy Life consensus ADP. I'm at running back 31. Like I have him at 99 overall. He's going inside the top 60. I'm at 99 overall. Like Joe Mixon just might be done. We don't know, but look, last year he was bottom 10 in avoided tackle rate among running backs with at least 100 rushes. He's almost 30 years old. He turned 29 in July, of course. From week 10 on last year, 3.4 yards per carry. They kept running him no matter what, for whatever reason. But this is a team last year in Houston that was 22nd in yards before contact, on running back carries. Like, it's not a great offensive line. They've done some shuffling, but I don't think you can sit here and argue with a straight face that, hey, their line got better.
Sure, their best player.
By getting rid of Laramie Tunsil.
Yeah.
I know they wanted to, and that, there's some contract stuff, there's some business piece of that, but their line did not get better from last year without Laramie Tunsil, and so there's a chance that it is worse. He's already injured. It's an ankle injury. By the way, the same ankle that's been injured a lot last year previously. We know they want to pass more this year. One of the reasons why they have a new offensive coordinator this year is because they were so insistent on the run, and so they weren't able to do it. So they brought in, DeMeco Ryans brought in a new offensive coordinator to be like, can we start taking advantage of C.J. Stroud, our best player here? Can we get him going? And then there's also the argument that, one of the reasons that Mixon worked in Houston to date is massive volume, just, insane volume. But that's not guaranteed here. Again, we don't know what Nick Chubb looks like. Maybe Woody Marks, the rookie, spark. But, if he's not getting insane volume, and because he's so inefficient, including the fact that he just might get hurt, it's insane to me that people are drafting him as a top 20 running back. When you think about sort of the 5th, 6th round where he's going right now in some of these drafts, and you think about some of the other wide receivers you could have in the 6th round.
It's not. This one hasn't caught up yet.
No. This is just
you're on auto draft.
He's on a bus because of the ADP. It's too out of. Taylor 417 says, who's going to pick up the slack in Houston's backfield? Connor, they have Nick Chubb there, and we'll talk about Woody Marks a little bit, because I don't know if people know about him.
I mean, he could legitimately be their third down back. That's how talented of a pass catcher he is. That was what he was best at in college. He can run a full running back route tree. He's reliable. He's very good after the catch in the open field. He's not a guy that is going to slot into number 1 running back, 20 touches. That's not his game. Sure. He is a pass-catching third down back. So if you're in PPR and that's somebody that starts to see some volume, he becomes really interesting.
But the argument becomes if it's Mixon and Chubb splitting first or second down, or even if it's 60-30 first and second down, Mixon to Chubb, and then you've got Marks in as the third down back. Right. And, and they're going more pass-heavy. You've got Ogunbowale there, and, they're still,
Are we definitely done with Dameon Pierce? We're definitely putting a line through Dameon Pierce.
They seem to be done.
Why is he still on the team then? I don't get it.
But Houston strikes me as one of those teams as well, given the fact that we don't know what the sort of status is of Chubb. We've heard some, camp reports that he's still not back to being Nick Chubb yet. But as this injury continues to linger on with Joe Mixon, Houston strikes me as one of the teams that'll be very active in the free agent market once camp cuts happen. Because there'll be some names that get cut that you're like, oh, that guy's still out there?
They're probably the number 1 team right now that the guy that leads them in carries week 1 isn't on the roster. If you had to pick a team. Yeah. Because if Mixon's hurt,
Gus Edwards, come on down.
They need somebody.
Where are you?
Somebody.
It feels like they're running back in the AFC wildcard round. It would be Breece Hall or something, right? They'll have a new. Yeah.
As Philip says, does the Chubb Club make a return this year?
I don't think so, but I don't think he returns for the way we care about it.
Right.
Meaning can we suddenly start Nick Chubb? No, but do I think he makes a return in the sense that he'll be a thorn in the side of Joe Mixon's fantasy value? Yes. Again, they were rolling Joe Mixon out there with a 3.4 yards per carry average. They don't care about efficiency, it doesn't seem like. At least they didn't last year.
Just volume.
So, Nick Chubb, he may not be great at this stage of his career, but as long as he's reasonably close to Joe Mixon, he'll get some work. And just there's too much uncertainty and murkiness here in terms of the injury and the role and the concern that this is just too high a price for me to pay.
How about another big-name running back, Jay?
Yeah, stay on brand. Follow up my Saquon Barkley bust round 1 with round 2. Derrick Henry, another generational running back.
Day at work for you.
Yeah. So look, here's the thing with Derrick Henry.
You're just out here trolling people.
I'm not projecting or anticipating that Derrick Henry is suddenly going to get worse because of his age. I'm just going to assume that Derrick Henry is going to be really good until we actually see that he's not. This, in terms of him being a quote-unquote bust, it's more about 2 things. One, I think Keaton Mitchell's really good. And I think Keaton Mitchell is going to play. Keaton Mitchell was incredible in his limited sample in 2023. Now he's another year removed off of the Achilles. I think that they want to get him work. And I think that this Baltimore team, they're the favorite to win the Super Bowl. I don't think they're going to be going all out, revving the gas on Derrick Henry in some week 7 game because they have to. I think they're going to have an eye towards the playoffs. 2, last year Derrick Henry was 6 yards per carry and a touchdown per game. Like, are you going to exceed that? Like, I feel like that is the pinnacle of what we're going to get. And then the other thing is he plays half the snaps and he doesn't get any receiving work. So you need insane production on a per snap basis, which I get that he's Derrick Henry. He may do it again, but I'm just not banking on replicating last year's production.
I will tell you that, hey, he can't keep getting away with it. I want to be 1 year, I want to jump off the bandwagon 1 year early, then 1 year too late. At some point, it's going to catch up with Derrick Henry. That article has been written for 7 straight years.
But that's not the article I'm writing. I still think he's going to be really good.
Okay.
I just don't think he's going to get the same usage. And I don't think he's going to have the same amount of breakaway runs. I think that Keaton Mitchell is going to intrude on him more than like Justice Hill or whatever did last year.
Right.
And I think that they're going to manage him more towards the playoffs.
Well, listen, Kyle Adams here on YouTube literally says, how much does Keaton Mitchell cut into King Henry's workload? My personal take is I don't think he actually cuts into Derrick Henry's workload at all. I do think he cuts into Justice Hill's workload.
That's the role. It's the same role.
Yeah, but I will say this. That's the thing about Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry plays first and second down. He's not involved in the passing game. He doesn't play, a ton of snaps for a star running back. He actually, when you start looking at the snaps, the difference is that when he is out there, he's getting the ball. He's getting the ball in high leverage situations. The reason why I'm not ready to bail on Derrick Henry yet is because, well, he may not get the same usage that he did in terms of 20, 22 touches a game. Although I wouldn't bet against him. I just think he's a genetic freak of nature. Derrick Henry is. Like he is the exception that proves the rule, right? And remember, this is a guy that didn't play a lot this first couple of years. So while he's 31 years old, he's not as he has less mileage than perhaps some other 31 years old. But the other big thing to me is that I think the touchdowns remain. I think he is a lock. He is a lock for 12-plus touchdowns this year because they don't want Lamar keeping it at the goal line. Unlike some other mobile quarterbacks, they don't want Lamar touching it. And so the whole reason to have a Derrick Henry on your team is when you get in close, and the Ravens are obviously going to be in scoring position quite often this year, is to give it to 22.
Mauricio 108, would you trust, who would you trust more, Henry's upside versus CMC's health concerns?
Trust more. Trust is a strong word here.
I mean, it's Derrick Henry for me. I just have the fear of CMC getting hurt every single year at this point, and I just think exactly what you just said, Matthew. I'm getting double-digit touchdowns from Derrick Henry basically on one leg if he needs to.
Yeah, the word here, though, is upside. What I would actually, Mauricio, I'll take CMC, but I'll just but in terms of trust, I don't know that I trust Henry's upside. I trust his floor. Yeah, that's the point. I trust Henry's floor versus CMC staying healthy all year. But if you're asking me to swing for the fences, I have CMC at 3 higher. Right, because the receiving, and we'll get to this later, but he's going to be put in more favorable positions to not take hits on his body.
Christian McCaffrey's been a starter in the NFL for basically 7 seasons. 3 of those he's been hurt. The other 4 he's been a top 2 running back. Right. And so that's what you're banking on.
Kind of roulette.
Yeah, exactly. And so you've got immense upside there. Last thing I'll say on Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
What we were talking about coming into last season, the one concern about the Ravens was their offensive line, which held up and was better than people anticipated. And Henry had an incredible year. Lamar Jackson had a historic season. The Ravens last year were the healthiest team in football on offense. So if you just bank in some health regression there, missing some time as some offensive linemen, backups coming in, just more so than last year, just another reason to not expect what happened last season to replicate.
Listen, again, I am pro Derrick Henry, so I'm sort of against you here. Although I will say, I'm at running back 7. His current ADP is running back 6. He's going 12. I'm 16 overall, so I'm slightly lower than the market at the moment. So I see some of that. But the other argument for your side here, very quickly, is that I feel like the Ravens have upgraded their pass catchers. You know what I mean? You think about last year, the emergence of Rashad Bateman. Obviously, Zay Flowers is a star. They get DeAndre Hopkins, who's going to have some role on this offense. They still kept Mark Andrews. Isaiah Likely, continues to get run. So there's a lot of mouths to feed on that offense. And then you just mentioned Keaton Mitchell looks fully healthy as well. He's going to have a role in this offense as well.
Yep. I'd rather have Chase Brown 20 picks later than Derrick Henry at price.
All right, guys, I'll close this out with a take that's a little less wild. Jayden Reed is my last bust here, guys. And, this isn't somebody being drafted in the same scope as everybody we've gone over right now. Yeah. Matthew, for you, he's your wide receiver 46. It's a little safer. His ADP is 109. But I wouldn't be drafting Jayden.
You wouldn't draft him inside the top 110. Yeah, you're outraged by this guy.
Look at you guys really going out on a limb.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon, Jayden Reed.
Joe Mixon's going as a top 20 running back. Screw you.
What about
That's like
Saquon
people
Barkley,
are
Derrick
morons.
Henry? Someone fade Josh Allen. Join me.
But you're not fading. You're not fading Saquon or Derrick Henry. You're like, I just like him slightly less.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You're not-
Jayden Reed.
If you want to be full on, if you want to be full on, anti-hero, like go on. Like, go ahead. Just kill them. Tell them they're done. This is it.
Let me read the receivers that are being drafted in the bubble of Jayden Reed
All right,
for
go
the
for
desk
it.
that
Yeah,
likes
yeah.
to laugh and be
Yeah.
funny over here. Ricky Pearsall, his own teammate Matthew Golden, who was a first-round pick, Cooper Kupp, Khalil Shakir, Emeka Ibuka, Josh Downs, Michael Pittman. I'm taking all of those names
guys.
over
Yeah.
Jayden Reed, and
Correct.
it's not even
I
like
agree.
a thing I'm
That I agree
thinking
with.
about very long.
The problem with Jayden Reed is that if they play like 12 personnel, you got 2 wide receivers on the field. Like he's not out there. Like he's not. He's a
The
slot guy.
legit issue is that he doesn't play enough, and his volume I don't think will be enough with how many mouths to feed.
Played 63% of the snaps last year. He's not a full-time player.
Which I don't get because it feels like he's their best wide receiver.
Now, and he's unfortunately banged up right now,
Yeah.
which is another
Also
layer to
dropped
this.
every ball that was thrown to him last year, which is also a problem. which,
I feel
which
like
will
that's a bit of an
regress.
exaggeration. I feel like he caught a couple
couple
balls.
catches.
He had a couple of catches.
He dropped a lot.
All right. Thank you to those joining us live on YouTube at our new time. A quick update for tomorrow's show. We'll be releasing a taped episode on this channel at noon, and we'll resume our live episodes on Thursday. In the meantime, of course, head to NBCSports.com for all of Matthew's latest articles, including this season's Draft Day Manifesto.
It's up now. Let's go. Rotoworld.com, NBCSports.com. The 2025 Draft Day Manifesto is live now.
Taking our last break. When we're back, last call is next. We're looking at the candidates to lead the league in the most regular season interceptions right after this. DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL, and all customers can bet the NFL on DraftKings now. Just download the app and use promo code FFHH when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crowd is yours. Time for last call. Friends at DraftKings, here is the leaderboard for most interceptions thrown in terms of odds. This is basically like your hater pick right here, Jay.
Yeah, no,
what do you like?
no Jayden Daniels on this list. What do you know?
Yeah, well, it's a hater pick, but also kind of a job stability pick because you need someone who's going to throw a lot of picks and then also not get benched.
And throw a lot in general.
And so a guy who's not going to get benched this year is Dak Prescott. Who's my pick at 15-1. Here are the quarterbacks last year who had a higher turnover-worthy play percentage than Dak Prescott by PFF. Jameis Winston, who literally went on national television and asked God to deliver him from interceptions / pick sixes.
Then promptly threw another one.
Yeah, probably threw another one. He was not delivered. Drew Lock, Tyler Huntley, who's terrible for the Dolphins, Spencer Rattler. And then Dak was 5th in terms of turnover rate. He threw 8 picks in like 7.5 games. He's coming off a severe hamstring injury, doesn't have the same mobility. I think he's going to have to throw a ton because they don't have any running backs and they have a worse offensive line. And then the defense doesn't have, for my money, the best defensive player in football on it, in Micah Parsons at the moment, and it's just very thin. So I think he's going to be in a lot of shootouts, going to be throwing a ton. I think he's going to throw a lot of picks.
I like that pick a lot. That's probably the pick. By the way, Cowboys open the season on the road at Philadelphia. Probably
well.
2 picks right there. Right here on NBC, by the way, Football Night in America, Thursday, opening up the season. Let's go.
I like the logic of somebody that can't be benched, right? That's why I'll roll with Drake May. The Patriots have to, and I think Drake May is going to be pretty good this year, but I think Drake May, this is just the style of play you get with him. He is a little bit of a gunslinger. He is somebody that is obviously going to start the entire season, assuming he's healthy, and he's somebody that's going to take his chances. And that's who he's been going back to being a prospect. It's who he was a little bit as a rookie. He threw the 10 picks in 12 starts. So I could see Drake May throwing a lot of picks this year and still having a fine season.
Same argument we made for Trevor Lawrence, right? He's gonna throw a ton, and he could easily throw a bunch of picks. He's not going to lose his job. But I am a little nervous about the job security. But how about Tyler Shuck? Who, they're not going to be good. They are going to have to throw a ton. He really has 2 pass catchers, other than Kamara as a dump-off artist. He's got Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed. We like both guys, but both are potentially injury-prone. Shuck played, 14 years in college? 17?
Legitimately 7, though.
Yeah, no.
That's pretty wild.
Right. I mean, it's unbelievable.
And he does like to throw the ball down the field for better or for worse.
He may only need 10 games to lead the league.
These are the kind of guys you need. Guys that try to
Shuck
push
likes
the
to
ball.
chuck.
Yes, there you go. Chuck
There
it,
you
Shuck.
go. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Please check out my Tonight Show clip on YouTube for Jay and Connor. I'm back tomorrow with a non-live episode. You'll see it then. Peace out.